After the media reported the news that the film Queen Luna was hospitalized due to illness, Obsidian disappeared for 2 days. I asked him where he had been, but he refused to talk about it. Soon after, Obsidian lost his life in a car accident. Before I could feel sad, I received a call from the hospital saying that Obsidian had signed a body donation form. When I went to sort out Obsidian's personal belongings, I accidentally discovered the secret in his mobile phone. His WeChat moments were filled with deep love for Luna. And the last post read, "If I can't be by your side, let my heart be with you forever." Only then did I realize that the car accident was actually designed by him. Returning to 10 years ago, when I saw the transferred student Obsidian on the podium wearing washed-out white jeans, I silently lowered my head. Later, he knelt in the rain all night, just begging me to look at him one more time. On the 3rd wedding anniversary, I sat in the living room all night. But what I waited for was the news of Obsidian's death. At 2:30 in the morning, a serious car accident occurred on the Jiangdong Bridge, and Obsidian died on the spot. When I received the call from the hospital, my whole body turned cold, and tears fell uncontrollably. I covered my mouth to keep from crying out loud. After a long while, I held back my pain and spoke in a trembling voice. "When can I go to claim my husband's body?" When I said the word body, I still felt it wasn't real. But after all, the deceased should be respected. Even though I was extremely sad, I still had to let him be laid to rest. "Sorry, ma'am. I'm calling to inform you that your husband signed a body donation form not long ago. However, you can claim Obsidian's personal belongings." I don't know who hung up the phone first in the end. I only knew that after hanging up the phone, I couldn't control my crying any longer. Clearly, hadn't consulted my obsession. He promised me that he would come back to spend the anniversary with me. But now, I was the only one left in the empty house. I stroked my belly and murmured softly, "Obsidian, do you know that I'm already pregnant with your child?" Accompanied by my best friend Sunny, I went to the hospital to claim Obsidian's personal belongings. There was only a wallet and a mobile phone. And there was nothing else. A nurse who registered for me said that when Obsidian was brought to the hospital, he held the mobile phone tightly under his body. It seemed that it was very important to him. I silently signed my name. On the way back, Sunny carefully comforted me. "Serena, the dead cannot be brought back to life. Don't be too sad." Sunny was probably afraid that I couldn't bear the blow, so she held me with both hands all the time. I pursed my lips and remained silent. I don't understand why Obsidian appeared on the Jiangdong Bridge in the early morning. Just like I don't understand why no one answered the countless calls I made last night. The mobile phone was very important to him, wasn't it? Since he always kept it with him, why didn't he answer my calls? What secret was hidden in the mobile phone that he protected even at the moment of life and death? I had countless questions in my heart, and it seemed that I could only find the answers from the mobile phone. Perhaps because of my unconditional trust in Obsidian, the mobile phone didn't even have a password set. As if driven by some unknown force, I clicked on his WeChat moments. He rarely posted in moments. But after clicking in, I found that it wasn't that he hadn't posted, but he had chosen to make the posts visible to only one person. That person was Luna, the school beauty of our high school. If it weren't for you, everyone in this world would be just a compromise for me. I chose to get married today because this is the day I met you. Will you remember it too? 10 years have passed, and I can finally meet you at the peak. But why is fate so cruel, making you suffer from illness? And the most recent post read, "If I can't be by your side, at least my heart will be with you forever." The attached picture was the body donation form he wrote with his own hand, and the recipient of the heart was Luna. How ridiculous. My husband, whom I had known for 10 years and been married to for 3 years, had always been deeply in love with another woman's heart. Obsidian had an indifferent temperament and could hardly show any interest in anything. I was always considerate of him and never asked for anything. It turned out that he wasn't incapable of loving others, but he had given all his love to Luna. How much he must have loved her that he was even willing to sacrifice his life for her. Damn it. Obsidian is really not a good person. How could he treat you like this? I also want to ask. For 10 years, If he didn't like me, he could have just refused me. Why did he marry me on one hand and reminisce about the love he never had in his weak moments on the other hand? His self-righteous affection made my 10 years a complete joke. It turned out that the beautiful love I thought was from school uniform to wedding dress was just my wishful thinking. Even though I hated him, Obsidian couldn't answer me anymore. Sunny was so angry that she gritted her teeth. But she still held back her temper and comforted me. It's okay. Although that scumbag is dead, all his inheritance belongs to you. Let that bastard go to hell. When the disappointment had accumulated enough, I wasn't that sad anymore. I handled Obsidian's funeral arrangements. There was no body, so even the cremation was saved. At the funeral, Obsidian's partner Vernon, accompanied by a lawyer, read out Obsidian's will. The company's shares under Obsidian's name were to be owned by Vernon, and all other properties were to be donated to the Red Cross. I clenched my fists tightly, trying my best to control my anger. Sunny had a hot temper and exploded even before the will was finished being read. What kind of beast is Obsidian? Serena gave up her great future for him, accompanied him to start from scratch, and gradually built up the company step by step. In the end, when he died, he didn't leave anything to Serena. Even a dog knows how to wag its tail. Obsidian is worse than a dog, Vernon sneered. Let me tell you why he married you. I'm afraid you don't have the courage to hear it. He looked at me with contempt in his eyes. 3 years ago, he was already preparing to confess his love to Luna. If it weren't for that accident, do you think you would be qualified to sit in the position of the president's wife? 3 years ago, Obsidian suffered from acute renal failure and had to undergo a kidney transplantation operation immediately. Without thinking much, I immediately did the matching. Fortunately, heading facilely, the matching was successful. I donated 1 kidney, and my health deteriorated a lot. I used to be able to jog for several kilometers, but now I would pant after walking just a few steps. At that time, Obsidian held me tenderly and said that he would never let me down in his life. I was immersed in the sweetness and didn't think too much about it, but it turned out that in his eyes, I was just a person who tried to take advantage of my kindness. I felt a little nauseous in my stomach. I wanted to vomit. Vernon kept chattering. You occupied the position of his wife, but you never knew what was in his heart. Obsidian wasn't a free man until his death, and it's all your fault. My long-suppressed emotions finally erupted at this moment. Slap. Vernon covered his face and looked at me in disbelief. Did I force him to accept my kidney? Since he was afraid that I would take advantage of my kindness, why didn't he refuse at that time? He wasn't afraid of death for Luna. Why didn't he dare to confess his love before he died? After all, he's a coward as timid as a mouse. Why should I pay for his selfishness? How great he is. He gave his heart to Luna, his company to you, and his property to society. But what about me? I've never done anything wrong to him. Why should he treat me like this? And you? Just because of a few words he said, you think you know me very well. Is your head just for making you taller? Vernon was so angry that his face turned livid. He pointed at my nose and stammered you for a long time but couldn't say a complete sentence. I directly slapped his hand away and said coldly, I won't recognize this will. You can get out now. Obsidian deceived me for 10 years and played a trick on me before he died. I won't just accept it obediently. After the funeral, I found a professional lawyer and raised objections to the will that Obsidian had made. At the beginning of the company's establishment, Obsidian didn't have enough funds. It was me who scraped together 300 yuan by borrowing from various sources. So the original shares should reasonably include my shares. Not to mention that after marriage, the house, the car, and the savings all belonged to the joint property of our husband and wife. And he had no right to dispose of my share. When I walked out of the law firm, I received a call from the hospital, saying that the time for the induced abortion I had reserved had arrived and asking me when I would be available. That's right. I don't plan to keep this child. Because of Obsidian. He doesn't deserve it at all. I didn't expect to meet Luna in the hospital. She was wearing a white dress, with a sad look in her eyes, looking just like the first love in a story. Just standing there. She could attract everyone's attention. The media and fans surrounded her and brought up the recent heart donation. I heard that the person who donated the heart to you is the well-known entrepreneur Obsidian. What's your response to this matter? Facing the media's question, Luna couldn't help but shed a tear. I also found out after the operation that the person who donated the heart to me was him. He came to visit me not long ago. I didn't expect that would be the last time I saw him. The media immediately seized on the key point. So, you knew each other before? The gossip between a new tech tycoon and a film queen in the entertainment industry has always been a favorite topic of the media. A slight blush appeared on Luna's face. We were high school classmates. We've been striving for our respective goals all these years. 3 years ago, we agreed to meet at the peak. Unfortunately, things change unexpectedly. If I had known the result would be like this, I should have been braver at that time. Luna stopped halfway through her words, suddenly turned her gaze to me, and said with a feigned surprise, "Serena, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you here." If I hadn't seen the malice in her eyes, I might have really thought it was just a chance encounter. We haven't seen each other for 7 or 8 years since we graduated from high school, right? Luna walked straight towards me. Before I could react, she rushed over and hugged me affectionately. Leaning against my ear, she said in a voice that only the two of us could hear, "Serena, guess what will be on the trending search tomorrow?" This meeting seemed hasty and urgent. She seemed to deliberately expose me to the public eye. "This is Obsidian's wife. Serena." Luna put her arm around my shoulder. Countless flashlights were pointed at me, and one question after another almost pushed me into a corner. It was finally the doctor in the hospital who ended this farce on the grounds that it was affecting other patients. I was in a very bad state, and the induced abortion operation that had been arranged had to be rescheduled after negotiating with the doctor. But I soon understood Luna's intention. Early the next morning, while I was lying in bed, I received a call from Sunny. "Serena, look at the trending search. That Luna is really shameless. Clearly, she used to look down on Obsidian the most, but now she's pretending to be affectionate." I'm about to vomit. I opened Weibo, and the top trending topic was Obsidian Luna 10 years of secret love BE. When I clicked in, it was all about various small details between them. For example, Obsidian's profile picture was a sunflower, and the flower language of the sunflower was silent love. Obsidian sends a large bouquet of sunflowers to Luna every year in the name of a fan, but he never leaves his name. His small Weibo account was also dug out. Every word in it records every moment of Luna over the past 10 years, telling the story of a 10-year secret love that he couldn't have. I always thought that the reason he liked sunflowers was simply because they grow towards the sun, just like his life, which has come out step by step from the mud. Whenever I thought Obsidian couldn't be more disgusting, he always managed to lower my tolerance further. But netizens don't think so at all. Woo woo. He loves her so much. He has silently guarded her for 10 years. God. What kind of beautiful love is this? The CP I just started shipping has broken up. I'm screaming, twisting, heading to sell my obsession, and crawling in the dark. His heart is beating in her body. Isn't this a kind of being together? If only he could have been a little braver, the outcome between them wouldn't be like this. They could clearly have been in love, but they just didn't have the courage to express it. Does anyone know what Luna meant by meeting at the peak? What happened 3 years ago? Why didn't they get together? Why did Obsidian get married all of a sudden? Didn't he like Luna? From this point on, the tone of public opinion began to change drastically. The powerful netizens quickly dug out the so-called truth. God. This woman is so disgusting. She exchanged a kidney for the position of a CEO's wife. What a profitable deal. You're right. I bet she used this to threaten Obsidian to marry her. No wonder Luna didn't say anything. This is clearly an act of interfering as a mistress in today's context. How shameless. I feel sorry for Obsidian. Being entangled by such a woman. Luna is really beautiful and kind-hearted. If it were me, I would directly deal with the mistress. It's so easy to ruin someone else's happiness. Isn't she afraid of going to hell? I turned off Weibo expressionlessly. So this was the big gift that Luna gave me. She really doesn't miss any opportunity to hype things up. With just a few words. She portrayed me as the vicious female supporting character who broke them up. One thing they said is quite right. She and Obsidian are a perfect match. They are both extremely hypocritical trash. I changed my shoes and planned to go to the hospital. After all, the longer the pregnancy lasts, the greater the damage to the body. The sooner the surgical arrangements are made, the better. Just as I walked out of the community, a man wearing a black tactical jacket suddenly rushed in front of me. I didn't have time to dodge, and I felt a sharp pain in my abdomen. Something seemed to be flowing out of my body. It's all your fault. You bitch. You made Luna so sad. You deserve to die. The man in front of me had a ferocious expression, but his eyebrows and eyes gave me a very familiar feeling. As if he wasn't satisfied, he stabbed me several more times. As my consciousness faded, I thought that if I could do it all over again, I would never care about Obsidian again. This is Obsidian, a new classmate who is transferred to our class. By the podium, Obsidian, wearing faded white jeans, looked confused at the moment. I blinked and it took me a long time to react. I've been reborn? Reborn to the first day when Obsidian transferred to the class. I pinched my arm hard. Only then did I believe that this wasn't a dream. I'm really back. Who among you is willing to be Obsidian's deskmate? The teacher asked. But no one in the class answered. In the previous life, Obsidian, Humsinda, who dressed shabbily and looked very gloomy, was disliked by everyone. No one was willing to be his deskmate. It was me who stood up and invited him to be my deskmate. If I had to say why. As the class monitor, I needed to set an example. But this time, I won't meddle in other people's business. Serena, you are the class monitor. How about you? I clenched my fists. Can't I avoid him even though I'd been given a second chance? Just then, Obsidian, who had been silent, finally spoke up. Teacher, can I sit next to that classmate? I looked up and saw that Obsidian was pointing at the empty seat next to Luna. The frost in his eyes melted the moment he saw Luna, and there was a faint smile on his lips. Although he was only 17-year-old Obsidian, his words revealed the confidence and composure of a superior. With just one look, I was sure that Obsidian had also been reborn. Meeting Obsidian's affectionate gaze, Luna's face also turned red involuntarily. She whispered, "Sure. I'm willing to be his deskmate." To be fair, Obsidian has a handsome face. It's just because of his gloomy and withdrawn personality that he was out of place with others and became the target of bullying. It was me who pulled him out of the mud and made him see his own shining points. But in the end, all he remembered was Luna's smile. For her, he didn't hesitate to offer his own heart. With such a great love, how could I not fulfill them? In this life, I sincerely hope that they can be together forever and never bother others. When Obsidian passed by me, he glanced at me but quickly averted his eyes. It seems that he doesn't want to have any connection with me anymore. Coincidentally, I have the same thought. In the previous life, I gave up my ideal for Obsidian. Now that I finally got a second chance, of course I won't be stupid again. Looking at the familiar yet unfamiliar high school textbooks, I was excited and nervous. After being away from my high school life for 10 years, this time I must seize the opportunity. Throughout the whole morning, Luna was chatting with Obsidian. There were occasional bursts of laughter. The teacher reminded them several times, but they didn't restrain themselves. Finally, having fulfilled my upside, they were asked out of the classroom by the teacher. At least I didn't have to see them and be annoyed. When I passed the corridor during the break, I was stopped by Obsidian. "Classmate, what's the matter?" I asked him, pretending to be calm, for fear of revealing the fact that I had been reborn. Obsidian gave me a deep look, and there was a hint of disdain hidden in his cold voice. "I heard that you are the class monitor?" I frowned. "Yes. So what? I want to remind you not to meddle in other people's business, especially when it comes to me. I hope you won't cross the line." I almost laughed out of anger. How could he have the nerve to say such shameless words? In the previous life, he was bullied and almost suffered from depression. It was me who pulled him out of the abyss and helped him regain his confidence little by little. But in his mouth, It turned out to be me meddling in his business. A person like him, who is ungrateful and a backstabber, should stay in the dark forever. Classmate. Narcissism is also a kind of illness. I suggest you take some brain-nourishing pills. Here used ironically to mean something for those with brain problems. Luna suddenly appeared from nowhere and said softly, "Monitor. How can you talk to the new classmate like this? Are you selectively deaf? Didn't you see that he provoked me first?" Luna almost lost her composure. She twitched the corners of her mouth. "But Monitor, your words are really harsh." I dug my ears. "Where's that dog barking?" Luna's eyes turned red. And Obsidian immediately protected Luna behind him. "If you're unhappy, come at me. Don't make things difficult for Luna." Sunny rolled her eyes to the sky. I said, "Can you two stop being so disgusting?" He was the one who spoke rudely first. And now he wants to play the victim. Sunny has always had good lung capacity. Her shout immediately attracted the attention of the classmates in the class. And even students from other classes came to join in the fun. Obsidian wanted to say something more, but Luna already sensed that the situation was not good and quickly tugged at his clothes. "Forget it." Obsidian pursed his lips tightly and gave me a fierce glare. Sunny rolled up her sleeves and was about to rush over and beat him up, but I stopped her. "Forget it. Don't argue with such a person. You're right. We are good students with good manners." Sunny hooked her arm around my shoulder. "Good students with good manners also need to go to the toilet. Let's go together." Looking at her youthful smiling face, it overlapped with the image in my memory. Compared to 10 years later, Sunny now is lively and free-spirited, and hasn't been worn down by the years. If it hadn't been for her parents' divorce in the 3rd year of high school, which caused her to perform poorly in the college entrance examination, she could have had a bright future. This time, I not only want to change my own destiny, but also change Sunny's future. She is like a wild goose in the sky and deserves a better life, instead of being stuck around the stove all day long and becoming an Annie for the whole family. Because of Obsidian's feat today, he successfully made everyone remember his name. However, for him, it may not be a bad thing. Compared to his cautiousness in the previous life, he is obviously much more confident this time. School life is intense and fulfilling. I heard that Obsidian has done a lot of things for Luna. The combination of a handsome guy and a beautiful girl has aroused the envy of many people. But I don't have the energy to care about them. After all, for me, studying is the most important thing now. After being away from the classroom for 10 years, I'm a bit rusty with many knowledge points. Fortunately, having fulfilled my, after doing a lot of practice questions repeatedly, I had basically mastered the knowledge points. And because of my memories from the previous life, I can even solve many problems in simpler ways. A month after being reborn, the first monthly exam came. "Serena, it's time for someone else to take the first place in the grade." This is what Obsidian said to me before I entered the examination room. His confident and flamboyant expression made me feel a bit nauseous. That position depends on one's own ability. You don't need to tell me. I found that Obsidian is really a masochist. In the past, I treated him wholeheartedly. But he ignored me. Now that I ignore him, he comes to seek attention whenever he can. Obsidian was left speechless by my retort and silently sat down in his seat. When the results of the first monthly exam came out, as expected, Obsidian was the first. I've always known the gap between Obsidian and me. Although he has a flawed personality, he has an excellent mind and doesn't have a single subject with poor grades. And my physics is my weak subject. Even though I've been working hard since I came back, it won't show results immediately. I secretly doubt that next time I will definitely surpass him. When the grades were announced, Luna said sarcastically, "I thought the class monitor was so amazing. I didn't expect that Obsidian could so easily push her down from the first place." Sunny wanted to speak up for me, but I pulled her and shook my head. It's of course more satisfying to retort to others by myself. I glanced at the grade list and pretended to be surprised. "I didn't know. I thought you got the first place in the grade. It turns out you're only ranked 380th. I deliberately drawled out my words. Luna's face turned green and then pale. She probably didn't expect me to confront her face to face. What a joke. I suffered a silent loss in my last life. But this time I won't give him the chance. Luna looked at Obsidian with a wronged expression. Obsidian naturally took her side and said, I'll personally help Luna with her studies. I'll make sure she moves up 100 places in the next exam. Hearing this, there was a chorus of boos in the class. Luna glanced at me provocatively and said with a false show of concern, Class monitor. How about I put in a good word for you and ask Obsidian to help you with your physics too? Maybe you can get a few more points in the next exam. Before I could say anything, Sunny directly refused for me. If Serena wants to, she can return to the top of the grade at any time. But you, Luna, don't drag the top student down to being a poor student instead. You're clearly jealous. What a joke. How can a poor student like you have the nerve to mock the second-ranked student in the grade? Obsidian shook his head. Forget it. Some people don't appreciate kindness. You don't need to waste your breath on her. Luna raised her chin. You're right. They'll be the ones who regret it later. After saying that, Luna turned to look at Obsidian, resting her chin in her hands. So, Obsidian, when will you start teaching me? Luna was the school beauty, and her looks were beyond doubt. Especially her big, bright eyes. When she looked at you intently, they were full of affection. Sure enough, Obsidian's ears turned red immediately. And he stammered, After school, I'll help you with your studies. Life is dull, and trash refuses to be sorted. I didn't bother to look at them anymore. After all, looking at too much filth can give you styes. The exam results this time were almost the same as before my rebirth. I organized my wrong question notebook and spent another week thoroughly understanding the knowledge points involved in the wrong questions. When I was gnawing on bread and struggling with difficult physics problems, Sunny suddenly leaned over to my ear and said mysteriously, Obsidian is going to confess his love to Luna. I heard he's prepared 99 roses and heart-shaped candles and plans to do it tonight. I didn't expect he could be so romantic. I stopped writing. It wasn't that I was surprised, but I knew about Obsidian's family situation. 99 roses should be a rather large expense for him. He really was willing to spend for Luna, rather than paying attention to this. You should think about how to improve your grades. I remember you only got 112 in English last time. That's not your usual level. Sunny had been full of enthusiasm just now, but her face immediately turned into a bitter gourd face when she heard this. My dear class monitor, please slow down with your hard work, okay? We have plenty of time. We can still be lazy once in a while. The college entrance examination is like thousands of troops crossing a single log bridge. A 1-point difference can mean a difference of thousands or even tens of thousands of ranks. We're already in our second year of high school, and you should also step up your efforts. In my previous life, I put all my thoughts on Obsidian and didn't notice anything wrong with Sunny. 6 years later, she married an ordinary worker. On her wedding day, she told me she regretted not seizing the opportunity of the college entrance examination. This time, I won't let her miss it. Okay, my dear class monitor. I promise I'll start studying hard tomorrow. But let's go and take a look tonight. Just one look, okay? I couldn't resist Sunny's coquetry. After she promised again and again that she would start working hard tomorrow, I finally agreed to her. The night sky was beautiful. Obsidian set up heart-shaped candles on the playground. He held a bouquet of roses in his hands and walked towards Luna step by step. Luna, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend? Luna covered her mouth, looking pleasantly surprised. She didn't say anything, just nodded heavily. Obsidian smiled, stepped forward and hugged Luna, his voice excited. Luna, you're finally mine. There were cheers all around. I just watched the romantic scene in front of me unfairly, but I only felt it was extremely ironic. In my previous life, Obsidian gave flowers to Luna every year, but in the years we knew each other, he never even gave me a single carnation. The difference between love and no love is really obvious. But how long could the happiness he thought he had last? You. What are you doing out here instead of sleeping at night? Ours was a key high school, and all students in the second year of high school lived on campus. That's why Obsidian prepared this surprise for Luna on the playground. The voice of the security guard rang out, and all the onlooking classmates ran away. However, the two protagonists of the dating incident were reported to the head teacher the next day. The head teacher directly criticized them by name in class. "How many times have I said that dating affects your studies? You're about to enter your third year of high school, and some students in the class are actually in a puppy lud, and were caught red-handed by the security guard. Obsidian, Obsidian. Luna. You to stand up." Luna still had that wronged and pitiful look, while Obsidian beside her straight and his back. "Teacher. Those whose studies will be affected are the ones with a weak foundation. I can balance my studies and my relationship. And I can also ensure that Luna will make progress of more than 100 places in the next exam." Goodness. He was really a pure love warrior. He dared to openly challenge the teacher for Luna. The teacher was so angry that his face turned green. "Fine. If your grades drop in the next exam, or if Luna doesn't make progress of 100 places, you two must break up." Obsidian made a military-like promise. Luna, however, looked worried. "Obsidian. Do you really think I can make so much progress?" "Of course. I believe in you." Obsidian gently comforted Luna. With a top student like him as an escort, making progress of 100 places should not be a difficult task. All these had nothing to do with me. I buried my head in my studies, making up for my knowledge of physics. Gradually, Obsidian faded from my sight. I thought I would never have any intersection with him again. But before school ended on Friday, Obsidian suddenly pulled me to a secluded place. His eyes blood red. "It's you, isn't it? You're back too." I was shocked. How did Obsidian know? I shouldn't have exposed anything. How could he know? We had been together for 10 years. And subconscious habits couldn't be faked. For example, when I'm nervous, I can't help but pick at my nails. Obsidian tightly grabbed my wrist. "You're not only back, but you also spread rumors about me outside? Was the lesson I gave you before not enough?" "Yes," said in full my obsession. "I'm indeed the son of a criminal. But does that mean I have to choose you? You won't leave me." I couldn't stand it anymore and slapped him in the face. "Obsidian. Are you crazy? If you're sick, go take your medicine. Don't go crazy in front of me." Obsidian pushed me against the wall, and the hatred in his eyes almost devoured me. "I didn't expect you, a woman, to be so vicious." It seemed that his secret had been exposed. So he was eager to come and blame me. The deepest secret Obsidian had was about his family of origin. The reason his personality was flawed was that he had a mentally ill mother. Obsidian's mother's mental illness often flared up. Once it did, she would beat him. Obsidian had been tortured for 16 years. Living through those 16 years. The last time, his mother, in a fit of madness, ripped off part of his scalp. His father took him to the hospital, where he got a lot of stitches. The doctor said he needed to be hospitalized for observation. So he stayed in the hospital for a week. On the day he was discharged, his father didn't come to pick him up. Obsidian went home by himself. When he pushed the door open, the scene in front of him almost made him collapse. His father had killed his mother and then committed suicide. This incident caused a big stir in the local area. Obsidian, which had already deeply affected, was also ridiculed at school as the son of a mental patient and a murderer. Later, it was his distant cousin who took pity on him and transferred him to our school. I learned about these things later when we met as former classmates at a dinner table. At that time, I felt sorry for Obsidian for going through such painful things. So I treated him even better. But now, I wish I could go back and slap myself twice. Obsidian deserved to endure those hardships. He deserved it. Obsidian. Don't pin every blame on me. What do you think you are? When something goes wrong, you come to me. Why don't you reflect on whether you were too high profile? The things in your family were spread all over the local area. It's normal for someone to recognize you when the video of you publicly confessing to Luna was posted online. But you're right about one thing. I was reborn. In my last life, I was blind to fall for a thankless wretch like you. This life, I hope you stay away from me. That day, Obsidian fled in a hurry. For several days after that, he didn't come to class. have you heard? The top student in the whole grade's mother is a mental patient. And his father killed his mother. No wonder he transferred schools. I heard mental illness is hereditary. Do you think he might also be mentally ill? Who knows? Anyway, stay away from him. As the rumors spread more and more, Obsidian was bullied. He was cornered in the toilet. And dirty mop water was splashed all over him. He just stared blankly at the pranksters. Not saying a word. What a top student. He's just a psycho. Such bullying became more and more frequent. Later, his desk was filled with all kinds of foul language. And his desk drawer was stuffed with garbage. The bullying incident from my previous life was happening again. But this time, I didn't step in to help him. Teacher, I want to change my seat. Obsidian had been enduring it all the time. Until Luna took the initiative to apply to the teacher to change her seat. He finally couldn't take it anymore. He tried to grab Luna's hand. But Luna avoided him like a snake. Didn't we agree to go to college together? Obsidian. We're just ordinary classmates. Please don't say such strange things. It'll make people misunderstand. Luna finally changed her seat. And no one was willing to be Obsidian's deskmate anymore. He looked at me for help, expecting me to be his protector like in the previous life. But this time, I ignored his plea. I'm not Jesus. I can't save everyone. Perhaps because he had been secretly in love with Luna for 10 years. Obsidian still wasn't willing to give up like this. He summoned up his courage and bought a bouquet of roses. Wanting to confess his love to Luna again. Obsidian thought that as long as he replicated the successful experience of his previous life, he would surely give Luna happiness. But reality gave him a resounding slap in the face. I was just going to the teacher's office to pick up exercise books when I unexpectedly heard the conversation between Luna and her best friend. Obsidian likes you so much. Aren't you really going to give him a chance? He's the top student in the grade. After all. So what if he's the top student? Like father. Like son. The son of a mouse can only dig holes. Just thinking that guy hugged me before makes me feel sick. Do you know what he smells like? He smells like a mouse. Murderers are hereditary. I'm so afraid he'll kill me. Obsidian. Holding the roses. Turned pale. Obviously. He heard everything. But what did it have to do with me? I passed by him holding the exercise book. And I don't know what happened afterwards. I only know that since that day, Obsidian hasn't sought out Luna anymore. But occasionally he still stares at Luna in a daze. His grades plummeted. On the contrary, my grades have been steadily rising. My physics, which used to be a drag on my overall performance, now consistently scores around 90 points. I also didn't forget to study hard together with Sunny. And her grades have improved significantly as well. By the end of the last semester, I maintained the first place in the grade. And Sunny had already entered the top 50. As for Obsidian, he had dropped out of the top 100. The once envied academic god had become a mental patient and everyone wanted to avoid. At the beginning of the new year, Sunny and I made an appointment to go to a homestay for fun. And we happened to meet Obsidian, who was also there. I forgot to check the almanac before going out today. Sunny whispered and complained to me. Obsidian had lost a lot of weight. And his originally thin face was now almost sunken. He looked at me and showed a flattering smile. Serena. What bad luck. I ignored him and turned to leave. Obsidian, however, caught up with me and said earnestly, Serena, I just realized that only you were truly good to me. Could you please give me a chance to take good care of you? Sunny looked at him as if she had seen a ghost. Is he okay? That's right. In this world, Obsidian and I have no relationship other than being classmates. I smiled. Obsidian. You're overthinking. I haven't helped you with anything. And we won't have any connection in the future either. Obsidian's expression was on the verge of crying. Serena. What on earth do I have to do for you to forgive me? I looked up at the somewhat gloomy sky and said slowly. If you kneel here for one night, I can consider giving you a chance. Obsidian's eyes lit up, as if he had grasped a life-saving straw. And he knelt down in front of me with a thud. Sunny was really startled. She whispered to me. Is he really not in his right mind? Who says he isn't? I was too lazy to pay attention to him and planned to take a stroll around the homestay. Obsidian called out to me. Serena. I will kneel here until you are willing to forgive me. That night. There was a heavy rain. Sunny stood by the window on the second floor. Serena. He's still kneeling. I had just taken a shower and came out. I dried my hair with a towel and said, if he wants to kneel, let him kneel. Compared to what I experienced in my previous life, this is nothing. I had a dreamless night. When I was about to go off for breakfast in the morning, Obsidian was still kneeling there. He was soaked through, and his face was terrifyingly pale. When he saw me, he still forced a smile. Serena. I did it. You will forgive me, right? Sunny looked at me, her eyes full of warning. I gently patted her hand in an appeasing manner, and then walked up to Obsidian. You know what? We once had a child. Obsidian looked at my stomach in surprise. He stammered for a long time before asking in a hoarse voice. When? On the day you donated your heart to Luna. Obsidian's face twitched slightly. He opened his lips and said, aren't you afraid that I would pass on something bad to our child? Even though I was like that, you were still willing to have a baby for me? When his emotions were on the verge of collapse, I dropped another bombshell. And you know what? Luna posted about the 10-year love between you two on the internet, and I was portrayed as the vicious female supporting character who broke you up. Her extreme fans stabbed me to death with a knife to avenge Luna. She disliked you and abandoned you. I was pregnant with your child for 3 months. And in the end, your child left the world without even getting a chance to take a good look at it. Obsidian. Are you still satisfied with the love that was bought with the lives of your wife and child? In fact, even without that accident, I wouldn't have kept the child. I just wanted to use this to stimulate Obsidian. Apparently, having fulfilled my absci. It worked well. Obsidian burst into tears and kept saying sorry over and over again. He might really have regretted it. But what did it matter to me? After all, it was him who deceived me. And it was also him who indirectly caused my death. I will never forgive Obsidian. Is he going to be okay like this? Sunny asked worriedly. Don't worry. He won't die. In his previous life, he even deliberately caused a car accident for Luna, just so that he could donate his heart to her. Now that he has seen the true face of his first love, how could he give up his life so easily? After the winter vacation ended, Obsidian didn't come to school for the whole semester. The next time I saw him, it was already the 3rd year of senior high school. He looked obviously much more mature. This time when he returned to school, no one caused trouble for him anymore. After all, everyone was preparing for the college entrance examination, and no one would waste time on him. Although there were still occasional people pointing at him, Obsidian seemed not to care anymore. Serena. This is my physics notebook. Maybe it will be useful to you. However, it seemed that he still didn't give up on me. He always came to curry favor with me from time to time, even though I refused him every time. But Obsidian still wouldn't give up. I think it's necessary for me to have a good talk with him. When school was over in the afternoon, I took the initiative to stop Obsidian. He looked very happy, with a smile on his eyebrows and eyes. Serena. You're finally willing to talk to me. I called you today because I felt that I didn't make things clear last time. Obsidian. Don't come to me again in the future. You don't really think that after all those things that happened between us, I can still get along with you peacefully. Do you? Obsidian's face turned pale. He nervously clenched his fists. I just want to make up for it. The best way for you to make up for me is to leave my life alone. I'm not like the female protagonist in novels who, after being reborn, is decisive in taking revenge on all those who once hurt her in various ways. I just want to live my own life well. No matter what I experienced in my previous life, it was ultimately my own choice. I made the wrong choice. And now that I have a second chance, of course I won't waste my time on them. After all, I wasted 10 years of my life in the previous life and even paid the price of my life for it. Now I just want to stay away from them. As far away as possible. The light in Obsidian's eyes faded. He opened his lips and said, I understand. I won't bother you anymore in the future. I hope you mean what you say. Obsidian really didn't bother me anymore after that. and I was glad to be left alone. Sunny's gossiping spirit burned brightly. Serena, why isn't that kid pestering you anymore? It seems that you have a lot of free time and even have the energy to care about this. Come on. I'll give you 3 more sets of real English test papers. Spare me. Class monitor. Ignoring Sunny's wailing, I stuffed a few more test papers into her arms. This time, none of us will lose. In the second semester of the 3rd year of senior high school, everyone started intensive review. I didn't even notice that Obsidian hadn't come to school for a long time. One night, I suddenly received a message from an unknown number, which only had a few short words. Serena, I will avenge you. I regarded it as a harassing message and directly deleted it and blocked the number. Unexpectedly, hadn't fulfilled my obsessor. The next day, hadn't fulfilled my obsessor. The class group exploded. Luna, a bully, who had gone to participate in the art exam, was suddenly splashed with sulfuric acid and disfigured. She had now been sent to the hospital. The murderer was wearing a hoodie and hadn't been caught yet. When I saw this news, I couldn't help but feel startled, and I thought of the inexplicable message I received last night. A voice inside me told me that Obsidian was the one who did this. Serena, why do you look so pale? Sunny saw that I didn't look well and reached out to touch my forehead. I grabbed her hand and my voice trembled slightly. I think I know who the murderer is. Who is it? Obsidian. No way. The police quickly traced the case back to Obsidian. As they delved deeper into Luna's social relationships, the police discovered an important clue. After Obsidian's secret was exposed, it was Luna who found people to bully him. There was no other reason. She just didn't want Obsidian to pester her anymore. Having the top student in the grade like her could make her look good. But the son of a mental patient and a murderer would only make her a laughingstock. So she secretly spread a lot of rumors, such as that Obsidian was a pervert who liked to take photos up girls' skirts, and that he forced her to date him in that way. Sometimes, compared to the truth, rumors spread more widely. No one cares about the truth. They will only uphold justice in their own way. This is probably what they call retribution. All the bad things she did have finally come back to haunt her. Everyone thought that Obsidian had retaliated against Luna because of the bullying incident. Only I know that Obsidian didn't do it for himself. It was because the dream he had been looking forward to for 10 years was shattered that he went to such an extreme. He covered it up in the name of avenging me. But deep down, he was still the same despicable coward as before. I didn't pay any more attention to the progress of the case and focused on preparing for the college entrance examination. As the college entrance examination approached, the school had a holiday. Just as I was packing my things and preparing to go home, someone covered my mouth and nose with a handkerchief. I was to care less. Why is there still someone trying to deal with me in this life? When I opened my eyes again, I found myself still in the classroom. It was already dark, and all the students had gone home after school. You're awake? Obsidian, who had been hiding for a long time, looked extremely tired between his eyebrows and eyes. He smiled at me flatteringly. I moved and realized that both my hands and feet were tied up by him. I calmly parried with him while my left index finger slowly reached out for my watch and pressed the emergency call button. During the time waiting for the rescue, all I needed to do was to keep Obsidian's emotions stable. I deliberately asked him, "Will come by or? Did you disfigure Luna's face?" "Yes. Didn't she always want to be a big star? Now that she's disfigured, she'll never have a chance in her life. This is her punishment for hurting Serena and the child." As he spoke, he looked at me cautiously again. "Serena, are you happy?" Obsidian is a paranoid person, especially now that he has nothing much to lose. I can't stimulate him at this moment. I could only try to speak to him in a calm tone. "Obsidian, you were too impulsive. Now you're wanted everywhere." "Serena, you still care about me, don't you?" Obsidian's eyes were full of affection. If it were in the past, I would definitely have been touched. But now, I just feel disgusted. "Serena, I was wrong before. I mistook the fisheye for a pearl. I just realized that the only person who has truly loved and cared about me is you." He reached out and caressed my cheek affectionately. But I just felt goosebumps all over my body. Come on. Is he crazy? Why is he pretending to be affectionate at this time? Uncle Policeman. Come and save me quickly. I can't hold on any longer. Just when I was on the verge of breaking down, a black figure rushed over rapidly. Obsidian dodged immediately, and the person pounced but missed. However, he didn't give up. He raised the knife and stabbed fiercely at Obsidian. It's you who ruined Luna. I'm going to kill you. I will never forget this voice. Even if I die. This is the person who killed me in my previous life. While I was lost in thought, Obsidian had already been stabbed in the abdomen. Blood instantly stained his white t-shirt. His face was deathly pale, but he firmly grasped the other person's hand, and still refused to admit defeat. She made me lose everything. This is all her retribution. Luna is not at fault. It's you who deserve to die. And also her. He should have heard what was said just now. The person turned around, looking at that familiar face. I remembered everything. He is Orion, Luna's neighbor. He had so little presence that he always watched Luna from a distance. So much so that I had never noticed him before. I also died at his hands in my previous life. His obsessive love for Luna even exceeded that of Obsidian. Looking at the killing intent in Orion's eyes, I secretly thought it was not good. Could it be that I'm going to die at his hands in this life too? The next second, Obsidian suddenly grabbed him and pushed him out forcefully. Half of Orion's body was already hanging outside, but he clung tightly to Obsidian and refused to let go. Serena, I'm sorry for you. So this time, I won't let anyone hurt you again. Obsidian turned back and gave me a miserable smile. And he grabbed Orion and they both fell down together. Just then, the police finally arrived. They untied the ropes on my body. When I walked down from the top floor, I saw the two people being carried away. They were horribly mangled and had long lost their breath. One after another. They are all crazy. This incident didn't affect me. I pulled myself together and headed for the battlefield. This time, I gave Sunny a heads up in advance. Her college entrance examination results were not affected, and she was admitted to a 985 university. And I was also admitted to Tingshui University or Peking University as I wished, and chose my favorite major in artificial intelligence. I heard that Luna didn't take the college entrance examination. Her parents took her abroad for skin restoration. Of course. I heard these things from Sunny. She loves gossip the most. So she finally chose the major of journalism. Although I don't think there is any relationship between journalism and gossip at all. Many years later, we made an appointment to meet in a coffee shop. Sunny became a reporter for a news station. And she was completely different from the housewife who was worn down by life and her previous life. The artificial heart project I participated in the research and development of was about to be put into use. And she specially came to do an interview today. It's rare to see you. Such a busy person. Sunny smiled and teased me. And then took out her notebook and started today's exclusive interview. She was focused and serious when working. And I also cooperated to complete this interview. After the interview, we were chatting about where to have dinner when we heard people arguing not far away. Mr. Huo, our software really has great development prospects. Could you please consider it again? What right does an unknown and lousy company like yours have to talk about cooperation with me? Aren't you tired of following me every day? If you keep this up, I'll call the police. I'm sorry. Mr. Huo. Mr. Huo. The other party didn't want to pay attention to him at all and directly turned his back and left. The person held the materials in his hand dejectedly. When he turned around, I saw his face clearly. Vernon, Heather Fully, I didn't expect it to be him. It seems that without Obsidian, he's really not doing well now. The President Vernon who was arrogant in front of me at that time was now as down and out as a dog. This feeling is really satisfying. What? Do you know him? He's just a loser. Who would know him? My voice wasn't low. And Vernon heard it too. He looked up at me. His eyes full of humiliation. I gave him the middle finger. Then I took Sunny's arm. Let's go. We're going to have hot pot today. Through the transparent glass window, I saw Vernon looking lost and dejected. It's so nice. Heaven is indeed fair. This time, our fates have been reversed. He is a failed entrepreneur, While I am a leading figure in the artificial intelligence industry, we all have a bright future.